Hello, Sean. Thank you for joining me. Could you give an introduction about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Sean. I'm a Romani gypsy, and I was born and raised out in Maryville, Indiana. And I'm here to talk a little bit about the real world with you.
Okay, very cool. So, what's the life like? Since you mentioned gypsy, I guess that's a fairly big aspect of your life then. How comes it's something you mentioned?
Well, because growing up over here, we don't get a lot of opportunities. You see what it is around the country and around the world for people like us. It's the only opportunity I've seen where everybody leveled the playing field, and it's the best thing I ever did.
This is joining the real world, right?
Yes, joining the real
Interesting.
world was
Okay.
the best.
So, how did you find out about the real world?
So I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been on the internet a lot lately, and I've been in paid discords, and I've been using YouTube, trying to learn all these concepts by myself. And then all my friends kept telling me, "Well, I'm in the real world. I met a boy at the gym, and he was young, 16 years old, and he shows me a stack of money this big." And I asked him, "Well, how did you do it?" And he told me he was doing the content creation course. So I decided to join that night.
Okay, and what campus did you get into? Content creation, something else?
So I tried content creation at the start, and I'm going to be honest with you, I like the trading course better. I was a little bit scared at the start. I was intimidated. These guys are posting big wins and everybody's dedicated. But once I joined in, everybody told me that my dreams wasn't that crazy, and all I had to do is reach out and grab it.
Okay, so trading campus. Did you have any prior experience with, is it stocks trading or crypto trading?
So I started with stock trading, and then now I'm learning the crypto trading. Wyckoff is a little bit, of a learning curve, but all the professors in there, they're taking their time with me, and they're really filling the knowledge gap that I do have and explaining the concepts way easier for me.
Okay, interesting. And yeah, any prior experience with trading?
No, no,
No
no
prior
experience at
experience.
all.
Okay. So what was the process there like? Learning it? How did it develop? Where you at now?
So, you guys lay it out so easy. It's just the introduction into it. You guys lay down just the basic and you don't overload with information. So when I started joining in, I was scared and they told me to paper trade. So I started paper trading, and one of the guys in the class told me, "Well, you can't trade real money until you know how to trade fake money." So I did that, and I followed every single step. I did every single module. I didn't stop until my eyes hurt.
Interesting. So how did it develop for you? So okay, paper trading, fully in, 100% immerse yourself. And yeah, what were the results of that?
So the results was, with anything, you're gonna have a learning curve. We broke past that, and I'm not gonna lie. Within 6 weeks, once I really got the system locked down, I was pulling in 100%, 200% trades daily.
Huh. So this isn't swing trading, this is short term, like
This,
what interval, time interval?
so my strategy, what I developed is we trade on the 15-minute chart and we take entries on the 5.
Okay. And how
And so that's a
much
scalp.
more can you
So
go into that? Like, how much are you comfortable explaining? Like, maybe what kind of signals you used? How did you come across those signals? Like, what have you tested?
okay, so during the back testing phase, I figured out that before this, when you see images on Twitter, Google, YouTube, all you see are retail patterns. And what was good about Hustlers University is that they broke that retail mentality that I did have and showed me how to actually make money. A lot of these guys, they want to pretend that price action doesn't exist. They think that the chart is magic and the trend lines are magic. No, in Hustlers University, what they take the time and teach you is that supply and demand, like in everything, rules the markets.
Okay, supply and demand. Again, more in depth. So, what signals did you end up using?
So, what signals I use is I use a SMA with a VWAP cross as my entry signal, and I'm gonna be real. Reading the tape is the great equalizer of everything. If you don't know when to take your position, the tape is gonna show you where it is.
Explain that. I don't have
So
much
the tape,
knowledge about the tape.
okay, so the tape is the buying and selling. It shows you the intervals of how many orders are in the block. And you could tell where the market's going to go if the bid and ask start getting smaller and smaller. And then once you see it ramp up, once you see the buy pressure ramp up and the volume come through, you know to follow the guys who's about to buy because everybody's deciding to buy. Technical analysis as a whole only shows the direction the market might be going. With Hustlers University, it showed me to take the highest probability trade to make money, not guess. That's my single, that's my entry signal, is the highest probability trade. I don't gamble anymore. I make money.
And were you emotional at all when you started, or did you always have emotions under control, so it's not something that affected you?
So, before this, we could start a little bit about my story. Uh, I was bankrupt, divorced, living in my brother's basement. I was a man not in control of my emotions. I was a man who didn't know the direction to take. So I didn't have control over my emotions. But in the real world, they help you get your mindset right. In all things. I've been divorced ever since I've been in the real world. I learned that you don't need all of this validation from other people. The only person who could help you in anything is going to be yourself. And that's what I learned. And now I have a fellowship, a brotherhood, who want to celebrate my wins, and I want to celebrate theirs. I never met anybody. It's crazy when you're in Hustlers University. Men who will do more for you than they will for themselves.
Interesting, right? Yeah, the community is a very big aspect of it for sure. What do you mean by do more for you than for themselves? Is that just something you've been a spectator of, or has it happened to you personally?
It's happened to me personally, and I've done it personally for people. You're in a group with men who've seen everything: poverty, heartbreak, family turmoil. They're not shying away from it. You have a problem, these guys have the answer because they've been through it with you. We're all in this together. I've been out in the real world. I'm 30 years old, and I've been in business since I was 15. In all my life, I've never met a nice businessman. I'm going to be honest with you. But everybody in Hustlers University, these guys are nice. They all want us to have a little bit of money.
Right. Yeah, it's the culture there is everyone celebrates your wins, not like maybe people around you usually who you tell them a win and then they either get jealous or try to say how they done better than you. People actually, yeah, celebrate. They're happy for you, and
Yeah,
it motivates you to do better as well when you see other people winning. So very
yeah.
positive for sure.
Before Hustlers University, my entire life, all I ever heard was no, you can't do it. You're dreaming too big. It's impossible. Well, now they're humbled by the achievements that I got. And I owe it all to Hustlers University. I'm going to be real with you. My shoes were ripped. I didn't have $20. And you know what they taught me? How to get money for free. They taught me how to get money for free. What is this? It's crazy, right?
I mean, yeah, it feels like it's hella thin air, but you're still putting in the work for it.
Oh my God, yes. I'm going to be real with you. You ever watch Rocky 3?
I don't think so. No.
Well, I'll tell you this. I went through a little Rocky phase. I was real out of shape. I didn't train anymore after divorce. I was real depressed. And all the guys told me, it's time to man up. It's time to claim back your power. It's time to be you again. So I went through it and I trained and I fought. And every single morning it was a battle. But I made sure every day to put in the work. I made sure every time. You guys have this list always in Hustlers University, a daily to-do list. And I made sure every day to follow that, no matter what. Training, getting a little bit of sunlight and feeling confident, it sounds hard to do it. But once you get it, it starts hitting.
All right. So the direction it gave you was huge. Why do you think you couldn't find that direction outside of the real world?
I tried to find that direction out of the real world. I tried my best. I looked at YouTube videos, paid discords, all of that junk. And the information, I feel that they want to hold it so they keep you relying on them. But in Hustlers University, they actually don't care. For $50 a month, I don't get this information. It just doesn't make sense how vast your guys' is. If you want to be a freelancer, you could be a freelancer. If you want to copyright, you could be a copywriter. If you want to be a crypto millionaire, you could be a crypto millionaire. The tools that are out there are available for everybody. The only thing stopping anybody from taking it is their own selves.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. Okay, so in terms of your achievements, what have you achieved since joining the real world?
So, ever since I joined the real world, I'm happy to tell you that me and my ex-wife are on speaking terms. I am making more money than I ever have. I'm actually happy again. I bought a Rolex, a S550 Mercedes, and a LT1 Camaro. I rebranded my classic car business, and now I have a 70 Mach 1, a 62 Beetle, and a, what is that one called? A dune buggy that's going to be on delivery soon. Professor Michael said something big in his mindset class. He said that a man needs to be busy to be able to achieve things. My workload might seem big, but it's not. It's you have to be busy to achieve what you want. And my goals, what I achieved, they might be big, but nothing compared to what anybody else could achieve. We're talking about a generation who survived the most turbulent decade in recent history. And look at them, they're still here, standing and looking forward to the future. They could accomplish anything. And who's stopping them? Themselves. And I'm here to tell you that you could achieve great things. You could shoot for the moon. You could take what you want. Everything's on the table. Dubai, Miami, Chicago, they're all waiting for you to seize it and take it. It could all be yours. But all you have to do is put in the work. Yeah, every man could point to his struggles, but also he could show his successes. And what's stopping you? A $50 paywall? Well, you know what? I think everybody needs to get it together and realize that the future is coming. The future is here. Artificial technology, artificial intelligence, maximum computing power, Hustlers University. With these three tools, you could take over the world. It's not a lie. The internet is here. You can make money laying down. Sleep. You could be asleep and wake up with $5,000. $50,000, $100,000. It's the only thing stopping you is the amount of work you put in.
All right. And having the direction obviously helps from the real world.
Oh my God. The direction is the best thing. Without Professor Michael, I would have been blowing up an account still. I would have been sleeping in my brother's basement still. I owe everything that I achieved to Hustlers University. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I could do it on my own. Every man needs a team. And I found mine. Not even a team, a second family.
And how did the car company come about?
So I've been selling cars since I was about 15 years old. I'm from the south side of Chicago. And it's the only skill I got.
Interesting. Yep. And yeah, how did that develop?
So the new classic car business or the one that predated it?
Let's start from predating and how it developed into a classic car business.
Okay, so back when I was young, the way we used to hustle cars is we would go on the streets and find who wants to sell. And I got pretty bored with that. So I was one of the first guys. You could pit this game out. It's not illegal anymore. They legalized it. It's called curb stoning. And I used to hustle out the cars, and I didn't used to have a retail license. I was one of the first street sellers with a retail license and a dealer tag. So I brought my business over to the auction. And I always, whenever I done anything, I consulted the experts, always before I did it. And the car game, I decided to move it over to volume. And selling Honda Civics and Volkswagens, they're beautiful cars, they're reliable cars. But it gets a little bit boring. I used to dress like a cowboy just to have a little bit of excitement when I did it. So COVID came around, and you obviously seen in America what happened to the prices. I got squeezed out by the bigger guys. And I had to shut down my lot. So, I'm sitting there divorced in my brother's basement thinking, everything's my fault. Really just laying it on myself, being low. And all the guys in Hustlers University, they told me, the rich will always have money. The rich don't go into recessions. And then it gave me the idea to rebrand myself and go into classic cars. And it was the best move I ever made. I got a really funny story about my last sale if you want to hear it.
Yeah, for sure.
So over on the south side, I got a friend named Damon. Now, the cool thing about Damon is, he's one of the OGs of the car game. What he does is all the paperwork that you need done, he runs it through for you. I don't want to get into any more detail. So I go over to his shop, and he has this nice, beautiful 1972 Buick. I'm talking about 30-inch rims. The interior he pulled out of a Cadillac, and it had red, pleated interior, LEDs, custom digital dash. The engine was filled with so much chrome that for real, you needed sunglasses to see it outside. So we're talking, I'm like, all right, this is a beautiful car, but you got about $120,000 in this. This is a little bit over budget for you. What's going on? So he tells me that he's going to the Rick Ross car show. I ask him, what's the Rick Ross car show? So it's in Fayetteville, Georgia. And you know who Rick Ross is, right?
No.
Okay, so he's a famous rapper from Florida. And he's rich. His whole thing is he's like a billionaire. That's his whole thing. And what he does is he puts on a car show. And at this car show, he walks around with a duffel bag full of money. And he throws it on you and he says, I want your car. So my friend tells me that he wants to sell this car to Rick Ross. So he invites me to go over there with him. And I'm going to tell you this. Georgia, beautiful place. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, I understand why they write songs about it. So we head out over into the car show, and it's exactly what you think. Exactly how you imagine. You ever seen a, 90s, 2000 rap video?
Probably, yeah.
It was just like that, and we're waiting, walking around, looking at the cars, all beautiful, just specimens, perfect builds, resto mods, complete classic, dead stock cars. You know what I'm saying? Anything you want is there. Finally, we see him. Big man, bigger than I expected. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And he walks over, and he's looking at the car, he's opening the hood, checking the doors, like a normal sale. Like, it was like I was back on my lot. And the man, he's quiet, and he just says, all right, I'll take this for my mother. And he throws us an envelope full of money. Oh my God, we were so excited. When we got back to the hotel room, we were screaming. We were hitting each other. I'm surprised security didn't come because it sounded like there was a fight. And without the real world, I wouldn't have been confident enough to take a gamble like that. Because when you don't have that group of men around you who actually want to see you win, who actually want to push you further, you're not going to get anywhere in life. We all seen it happen. I mean, I'm old. I'm 30 years old. When I was younger, all I wanted to do was smoke weed and play video games. I'm going to be honest with you. And it gets a little bit harder when you got a beautiful woman with you. You want to stay complacent. You want to stay tired. And maybe the best thing that ever happened to me was losing all the stuff I had. And so I could discover what I can be. And I would have never got this information if it wasn't for my friends.
Interesting. Explain a bit more about the bravery aspect of going over to Rick Ross's show. Like, what about that would you not have done had you not been in the real world?
If I wasn't in the real world, I would have never reopened my business. But let's say if I did get to the door, I would have, I'm going to be honest with you, I would have been like everybody else and said, that's a stupid idea. But, you got to enter action with boldness. And the men taught me how to enter action with boldness.
Okay, so after that Rick Ross show, I mean, it was still your friend's car, so he took all the payment, right? So it's just that
Well,
you got the idea for it then.
Well, the way the car game goes is when somebody hits a big little sale, they throw you a little bit, you know? It's the way it goes.
Cool. So how did you, so you opened up your own classic car company, and how did you begin that? Did you do a similar approach to your friend, or did you have something else in mind?
I'm completely self-funded with the classic car side by my trading. So I never like to accumulate debt. Now, I know other people like debt. This is just me. It's personal. I never like to have, it's called a floor plan. I like my lots to run pure cash. So with the funding career, this month I bought 3 cars and they're ready to go. I bought a 70 Mach 1 with a 351 Cleveland. It just needs a paint job. And I got the car, from the business mastery course. I thought I knew how to negotiate. I thought that you couldn't touch me. I thought I was the best car salesman who ever lived. But let me tell you, in that business mastery class, I learned stuff. I'm not even going to say it on camera. I scored this car for $4,500. And you know what I'm going to turn around and sell it for? $75,000. It's insane.
Explain a bit more about that. How did you get it for $4,500?
So, I met a couple guys in the business mastery course. And I showed them my pitch. I showed them, like, the people who's listening who don't understand the car business, it's going to be hard to explain. So over in the business mastery class, the way you negotiate a car on a classic side, the numbers got to match, the engine has to be good, the paint has to be correct, and even if you have the original radio, adds value into these cars. So they taught me, I've always been, how could I explain it? Not a closer, if you catch my drift. And they showed me how to actually close, how to ask for what I want. The problem was I never knew how to ask for what I want. And they showed me how to ask for what I want.
All right. Okay. So are you saying usually you could have the conversation, everything is okay, but then you wouldn't know how to actually close them from that conversation?
I wouldn't know how to close the deal, yes. I would not know how to close a deal for nothing in the world. I used to have a closer with me. And, that was just me not wanting to take control over my business. In Hustlers University, they show you how to take control of your life. They show you how to take control of your business. I mean, let's just be honest here. Everybody's conditioned with the 9-to-5, schools, everything. You got to rely on somebody for everything, right? So it's natural to assume when it comes to your work, you want it to be handed to you. You want the task list to be given to you, right? Well, over here, they show you that you're the one in control, that you're the one who decides where you go. And since I joined the real world, being in control of my own life never felt better.
Good. Yeah. Carry on. Sorry.
No, I know you interview a lot of people and you hear a lot of stuff about mindset and work. And, I think you've heard about all 18 wealth creation methods in here. What do you think is the common denominator from all people who become successful?
Yeah, mindset.
It's mindset. Okay. And from here, I think that I I really don't know what I would do without it. I really don't know. For $50 a month, I spend that on cigarettes and coffee and gas.
Mm-hmm.
This is making me more money than smoking a pack of cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, man. When I was growing up, it was hard. I grew up in the day when we had dial-up modems. Internet first came out. Trading online didn't exist the way it does now, you know? You couldn't get this information. It was hidden from us. You had to be in the know. And it's just being in the know is exactly what I imagined that it could be. Like if we're going to talk about Wyckoff theory, for example, I always thought that, I was a bad trader and that the positions was going to go against me. Well, that's because they're supposed to. Once I actually sat there and learned how the market actually works, how it actually trades, I started making money. So, yeah, you might feel guilty saying that you don't want to hunt other people's liquidity. You don't want to hunt their stop losses. I say, forget them. I know how to spend their money better. You have to have that mentality when you come into the market because I've been hearing no my entire life. I tried real estate before this. Beautiful deal on paper. I didn't know nothing. Was 27 years old. I ended up catching a nice foreclosure deal. That's what I thought. I buy the house, walk in. It was a hoarder's house. Newspapers up to the ceiling. Roof was rotten, floor was gone. I held on to this thing for 7 months just paying the taxes. You get what I'm saying? For 3 years, property tax. And I'm out, and this place was in Chicago. Everybody knows how high the property taxes are. So I was a little bit embarrassed to tell everybody in the real world that, I failed, but I manned up and I did. Within a week, they showed me how to get out of that deal. No, I didn't profit crazy. I made $1,000, but from
At
having
least you didn't lose
120,
money from that, yeah.
yes, $120,000 into the hole, and you come out profit $1,000. Guess what? I'm gonna take that 9 times out of 10. Really, 10 times out of 10.
Yeah. Okay, so how different is the material within the real world compared to what's how on the internet? And maybe not just the material, but yeah, again, the access you get to the community, the professors, the lessons, everything.
It's, how could I explain it? If you could imagine a place where everybody just wants the same thing, because they want to tell you that you're wrong your entire life. They want to tell you that you can't have it. Everybody around you, your entire life, they don't want to see you succeed. Not because they're not your friend, but because they don't believe in you. You want to know why? Because you end up not believing in yourself. So Hustlers University is the place where everybody believes in each other, where everybody knows that we could get through this with hard work, where the information is just a backdrop. You want to know why? Because it's easy to learn. It's easy to teach. The only reason I failed for so long was because I didn't want it. I find myself talking myself into success. And I feel that maybe there's a lot of people out there who feel the same way. And I'm here to tell you guys that your dreams can be a reality with just a little bit of hard work. Just a little bit. Because once you're in the real world, once you actually dial it in, once you actually want to learn, you can. It's out there. I'm here. I did it. You can too. There's nothing stopping you but you.
Right. Okay, so what does your average day look like now then? Because you said a bit about before. So yeah, how different is it now?
Do you want to hear about my fun days or you want to hear about my work days?
Both?
All right, so I wake up every day about 7 a.m., right? And I learned through the hard way that you got to meditate. So I
Mm-hmm.
meditate for 30 minutes. I set my intentions for the day. Then I pound down about 3 cups of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
uh, then, I wait for the market. I don't take trades till about 11, 12 p.m. I let the market open up. I let the levels get set. I mark my key levels, mark my liquidity, and I just wait to strike. So then I'm around the computer till about 3 p.m. Then, I have a light lunch. And from there, it's whatever I want to do. If I want to go and spend $20,000 at the mall, I'll spend $20,000 at the mall, right? If I want to sit there and have a quiet dinner by myself, I'll have it. The good thing about having a little bit of cash is that your friends could go anywhere with you. My brother, I wouldn't be anything without my big brother. Nothing. Having him with me and being able to do the things we always wanted to do isn't even worth any money. It's the experience that counts for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then, when I want to have fun, I can't even talk about that on camera.
Fair enough. Okay, but yeah, clearly a completely drastic change from before, which is amazing to see.
Yes, I owe it all to the real world. I owe it all. I was sleeping, not in a finished basement, in a Michael Myers basement. There were no windows. It was leaking. The bed was on the floor. I couldn't afford it. I could not afford to feed myself. But I found a way. The same way you could find a way. The same way everybody else can. I never went to school. I dropped out at 6th grade. I'm a gypsy. That's what we do. Everybody knows it. I'm uneducated. It's amazing that I could learn the concepts that the real world gives you because they make it so easy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a 6th grade dropout. Do you know how old I was when I dropped out of school?
Like, I don't know, 10, 11?
13.
Okay. Yeah.
13 years old. There's nothing special about me. I don't have any drive that separates me from anybody else. There's no common denominator. The common denominator is yourself in every situation.
Yeah. And sometimes people take a victim mentality because it's either become a victim or try to walk through it, no matter how hard it is. And some people choose the victim route, which is unfortunate. Some people just spend years walking through it, then they get through it and have the most amazing lives because they overcame sometimes the toughest things. Like some stories I've heard, people have, overcome some really insane things. But then that's what makes them stronger. So the more you
Yeah,
overcome, the stronger you get.
yes. And the strength in the real world is legendary.
Mhm.
We got modern day Hercules is in there.
Okay. Let's see. So, since you're on this trajectory, where do you see your life heading in the short term, medium term, and long term?
So I only like to use a long term thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was talking about it with my family and my friends. And I know it's going to sound a little crazy, but I'm shooting for $100 million now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, why you say it's going to sound
100
a
million.
little crazy.
And
If
I
you want to
know,
do it, then yeah. If you believe you can do it, then I mean, it's probably within your power to be able to do it. Otherwise, you wouldn't
yeah,
conceive of it.
yes. And I know I could do it.
Mm-hmm.
I know I have a support system. I know I could get the knowledge. And I know if I really had to, I could just go out there and ask what to do, they tell me.
Mm-hmm. All right, beautiful, good. So, one more question about Tate. Has he had any kind of impact on you? Because we haven't mentioned him this interview.
I'm going to be honest with you all. I was like everybody else. I was a little bit apprehensive at first. And then I heard his story. You know, he grew up in Gary, Indiana. I grew up in Maryville, Indiana. That's the next town over from me. Did you know that?
I didn't know.
Tate loves my culture. Never knew that. I listen to his videos, right? He talks like me. He talks like one of the boys. He talks like a gypsy. He lives like a gypsy. And I said, this man figured it out. And I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, he's a little critical. He is. But I needed it. Because if nobody was critical on me, I'd still be sleeping in a basement with ripped up shoes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Tate is a major motivator for me. Because it's not wrong to want to live good. It's not wrong to want to be able to eat what you want. Is it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just not wrong to want to be happy. You want me to be 100% real? You want me pour my heart out on camera for you?
Mm-hmm.
I went to doctors, right?
Mm-hmm.
I tried to get my brain checked. I tried to get my mental health in order. And they were lying to me. They were telling me it's this, it's that. I didn't have depression. I was just unmotivated. Well, look at me now. Better than Xanax, right?
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And I owe it all to Hustlers University, and I owe it all to Andrew and Tristan. Without these guys, I remember Andrew Tate back in 2012, before it was Hustlers University, and his place in Romania wasn't built yet, and he had a yellow Lamborghini he was showing off, and his whole pitch was, life isn't perfect, you gotta take what you get, and his big sell was that the Lamborghini wasn't washed. And I didn't know who he was at the time. He even had hair. You get what I'm saying? I knew of this man for years. And the things he achieved in this short span is insane. He's really the best businessman who ever lived. I can't think of anybody better. It's stupid what he did.
All right. And potentially, probably one of the hardest workers in the world as well, because he just lives and breathes work. That's what his existence is, just work. He dreams about work.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't become a world champion kickboxer without hard work. You don't become the most influential man without hard work. You don't own how many supercars does he own?
A lot.
A lot. We can't even get a number. You don't become that without working hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that all we have to do is work hard. Well, I'd rather do that because laying down is boring.
Yeah.
How many video games could we play? How much weed could I smoke? Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a little boring after a while. You know what never gets boring? I'll tell you. Best experience in the world. Driving a really fast car. Right? Down Lakeshore Drive in Chicago. Windows down, music playing, you look to the right. You got the most beautiful woman you ever seen in your life. And she actually likes you. That's the best feeling in the world. And I achieved it.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay, so just before we end off, so combined with the car company and trading, how much income are you getting?
100 grand a month. And I'm going to be real with you. I want to shoot for 200 grand by the end of this year.
Good.
I want to double my output. I'm going to start hiring staff. I'm going to shoot for the stratosphere. I want it all. And the only thing stopping me is myself. Mm-hmm. And the only thing stopping you is yourself. I want you to look in the mirror and I want you to tell your family. I want you to tell your mother. I want you to tell your sister that you are giving your destiny to your own captors and your fear is what's stopping you. I want you to wake up tomorrow morning and I want you to look outside and I want you to say to yourself, this is fine. My life is going to be fine. Or you could just put in the hard work and you could learn and you could join the real world.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to hold you accountable to that. So we'll do a follow-up before the end of the year, and I'll check in on you, see how you're doing, you'll give us a progress update, let us know how you reached that 200K per month. And yeah, look forward to that. So to end off now, to wrap up, I know you've said it throughout the interview already, but I want in one place, for people who are unsure about joining the real world because maybe they think it could be a scam for the $50, what advice would you have to them?
I'll tell you this. With all things in life, you have to spend money to make money. And if you're not willing to spend $50 to make $100,000 a month, you ain't gonna make shit.
Okay, so thank you. And yeah, Sean, it was quite an interview. Thank you for sharing all your stories. And it was quite something. And making 100,000 a month, congratulations, how far you've come. Again, in what time span was this from when you were sleeping in the basement?
Took 7 months.
7 months.
It sounds like it's a long time, but when you're actually working, and you gotta understand, like, yeah, 7 months to 100 grand, but in between that, you're making 10, 15. Between that, you're making 5 or 10. Between that, you're making $1,000.
Yeah.
The money comes. It's all just a matter of how long you could last in the shit. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
How long can you last? Victory comes to those who are persistent. So persist. So fight. Seize. Take. Live. It's yours. It's nobody else's but yours. Everybody else's mentality isn't yours. If they say that you can't do it, it's only because they can't. $50 a month is really stopping you from living the life you want. $50? I'll give it to you. I'll hand you $50. Because this struggle out here, it's real. Okay? If we want to talk real, you know what's coming. We all know what's coming. They want us to eat bugs, right? Did they not? Did they not want us in the pods? Did BlackRock not buy every single residential home in the country? Are these things not happening? Well, they are. So instead of not integrating to the system, how about you just make your own? How about you be a man and say, I'm drawing a line here. You're not taking what's mine. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna have kids. And those kids are gonna need something that's theirs. So why don't you start to get to work and make your own future?
Mm-hmm. That's a good note to end on. So thank you very much again, Sean. And it was quite an interview. Really enjoyed it. So as I said, I look forward to following up. We'll have to do it by the end of the year to hold you accountable, as I said. And yeah, until then, I wish you all the best.
You too, brother. It's always a pleasure speaking with you.